Welcome to episode 248 of the Thunder Underground podcast. Trent and Jason here as always. And this week we've got a great one because we've got an announcement here.
And we sure do.
Yeah, we've got Doug Burgess of DEB Concerts with us. If you've listened to us in any capacity, whether you're from around this area or not, that might sound familiar because DEB Concerts has been a sponsor of us for probably a year and a half at least.
Yes. Proud sponsor, and we're proud to have them.
That's right. DEB Concerts book shows here in Tulsa, but they also, the reason Doug is with us today is because he books all the bands for the Roadhouse stage at Rocklahoma. And he's going to tell us every single one of the bands that is playing there this year.
That's right.
So we're going to get into that, but before we do, we need to let you know about our sponsors, which, as we just said, one of them is DEB Concerts.
Right.
And DEB Concerts is a promoter, as we just mentioned, located right here in Tulsa, that brings in a lot of acts to the Ideal Ballroom and even the BOK Center. Last year, they brought in Snoop Dogg and Nelly, which was kind of out of their typical genre, but it was a big show for him. And I think he mentions in this interview that they're working on booking another big show at the BOK Center, but this time it will be rock.
Yes, very cool. And there's nothing wrong with getting some hip hop acts in there.
No.
I mean, your business, your branding, you got to diversify, all that shit.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it just widens your umbrella even more. So I dig it.
Yeah. And in between that all, there's always shows going on at the Ideal Ballroom.
Of course.
And recently, they've had in bands like Last in Line, Sebastian Bach, Saxon, Junkyard and LA Guns, Tom Kiefer, Dokken. A long list that goes back here now about 3 years. He's coming up on the 3-year anniversary of booking bands there. And here in February, on the 22nd, Buck Cherry will be coming into town, which is very cool because we kind of spoke on that here in the interview about how he's branching out into some other genres besides just the classic rock and 80s rock.
Can't wait.
Yeah, Buck Cherry will be there February 22nd along with Grind and Fist of Rage, two great friends of this podcast.
Of course.
Both of them have been on this podcast multiple times. So if you hit up either Grind or Fist of Rage, get on Facebook or their Twitter or their email or any way that you contact them, ask them to send you tickets. If you're not in the area or meet them to pick them up, you will save $10 a ticket, which is a huge savings, especially when you're buying more than one. So hit them up. Get your ass out there to the Ideal Ballroom on February 22nd. Eddie Trunk will be hosting that show as he always does. And that'll be a great time. You'll get lit up like a fucking light bulb.
Right.
To quote Josh Todd. He actually
That's right.
used to say that, I know, during the song live. I don't know if he still does or not. I haven't seen him in a while. We'll find out on February 22nd.
Definitely.
And of course, be on the lookout for more shows there at the Ideal Ballroom. Like we mentioned, the BOK Center and D&B Processing Stage in the Roadhouse area out there at Rocklahoma. DEB Concerts booked that last year and brought in Beasto Blanco, Ace Frehley, Lita Ford, Slaughter, and a ton of other bands. This year's no different. I could list them right now, but we'll wait and let you hear Doug say them.
Exactly.
Here in just a bit, but there's going to be some great ones again this year. The announcement is here on this episode coming out, and then the full announcement from Rocklahoma for the other two stages will be here very, very shortly. So be on the lookout for that as well. We are also sponsored by MedFarm, which is a dispensary right here in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, located at 24683 East Highway 51. They've got a huge selection. If you go in there and you tell them that you heard about them on Thunder Underground or you mention our name, they'll give you 10% off your order, which is a great deal. They're also always running different kind of specials on different products. So if you follow their social media or their website, you can find out about that all the time, which is medfarmok.com. And Instagram is at medfarmok. And Facebook is medfarm, and that's PHARM. They have a doctor on site every Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Their slogan is cannabis with a cause because 30% of their proceeds are going to build no-kill animal shelters, which is very cool. They've got one in the works. They've got the land and the building acquired, and they're working on getting it set up. So we'll let you know when that happens, but that's a very cool thing. Every other dispensary in town is not doing that.
Right. Exactly.
So that's why you need to support these guys, even if it's like you're in Tulsa. Okay, now there's a dispensary on every other block, just like it's a Quick Trip or a McDonald's or a church around here.
Exactly.
So your options are endless. I know that. There's probably a dispensary 12 feet from your driveway. But just get in your car, even if it's a 10-minute drive to over here near Highway 51 and Anita Road is the closest intersection.
And make a goddamn difference.
Yeah, exactly. 30%, not 10% like a lot of people do with profits. We're talking almost a third of their profits are going to do this, and this is entirely family owned. This isn't like some big corporation that's doing this to try to look good. I mean, these are genuine people that are doing this. They're 100% locally owned. A lot of dispensaries are also have outside investors. MedFarm does not.
Yeah.
So get in there, show them some support, and like Jason said, make a difference.
Exactly.
All right. So, well, before we get into the subject at hand, did you see that Bon Jovi's coming to Tulsa with Bryan Adams?
Yes, I did.
I want to make a comment here.
It's probably something I'd agree with.
Well, no. Well, I'm a lifelong Bon Jovi fan. Even during the lean times when people are like, my God, they went country. Then when they had like 3 country songs. Like, I've always loved Bon Jovi, and I still do to this day. But the thing that struck me as funny as soon as I saw this tour was, you remember when we announced, well, we didn't announce it. Remember when we talked about David Lee Roth opening up for Kiss?
Yeah.
And you're like, Kiss booked a band that there's no way in hell is going to upstage them. Because you know there's no way in hell that David Lee Roth is going to upstage Kiss.
That's right.
With his performance nowadays. I mean, his band's great and all.
And I need to make note that Trent just said performance with the air quotes with his hands.
Okay. Right. But Bon Jovi, whoever's doing their booking, said, let's go the opposite route. Let's get someone on stage that's going to blow our ass off the stage every night.
Well, I don't know. Have you seen Bryan Adams? How's his...
I saw him 4 months ago.
That's right. Okay, I forgot about this. I'm sorry.
And that's how I can speak on it.
Yes.
I've seen Bon Jovi recently. Not recently, a few years ago. And, I mean, he's not David Lee Roth or Vince Neil or David Deadman bad, but he's like... he's not the John Bon Jovi you remember.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's not bad. I'm not going to push it that far. It's just not... It's like Paul Stanley. It could be better.
Mm-hmm.
But Bryan Adams still sounds fucking great.
Yeah.
And he's going to upstage John Bon Jovi every single night, especially because John Bon Jovi doesn't have Richie Sambora over there saving his ass. Like
that was a secret weapon.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Phil X. That guy can play guitar like a son of a bitch.
That's right.
But come on.
Yeah.
You know. But I feel, and I'm not even, for me, I've never seen either. And there was a point in my life when I was like 12 that Bon Jovi was like fucking it, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'd listened to New Jersey the other day. It's a great fucking record.
Right.
But, you know, there's so much of their stuff. There's like 2 records from them I dig, and the rest I don't even want to even entertain. But there's no fucking way you can deny Bryan Adams and the hits. And we all loved it. We all still love it. It's perfect fucking rock songs. And that's one thing. I was like, man, it'd be really cool to see him.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in seeing him than Bon Jovi. So that's kind of where I agree with you a little bit.
Right. So yeah, maybe you'd probably be able to get tickets on Groupon when it gets closer.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not that big of a deal to me.
Right.
That's terrible. I sound like a fucking asshole.
Well, also recently announced Scorpions are doing a Vegas residency.
Yeah.
And I think it's July. Sometime this summer. It's like 9 dates. And the very cool thing is a lot of times when you see those residency, it's just that band, but they have Queensryche with them on every single show.
Yeah. Well, it's insane that, you know, hats off to them for picking a band that's worlds better than them to open for them at the residency. You know, especially now with a better singer. Fuck yeah.
You're just trying to play off what I just said, but in this case, you're wrong.
No, as a matter of fact.
Well,
hey,
no.
you know, I've never
I know.
liked the Scorpions. I don't like the guy's voice. Okay. You know, they had fucking naked 11-year-old girls on their album covers. Super creepy. I don't get it. I don't care if you're from Germany. I don't know.
I'm half German. That's why it's cool.
Well, you know what? Have you seen how hairy my back is? I'm definitely German too. Okay? So don't give me that shit. Okay? It's fucking creepy and I don't get it. And I've never really dug scorpions anyways. We've had this conversation for 20, 30 years, Trent.
Yeah.
So, Queensryche is better. They're even better with Todd LaTorre. So, I'm glad that they're getting the Las Vegas residency. They deserve it.
That's right. But whenever you have bubble gum on your hand and a woman's tit.
That too. What the fuck is that?
That's very cool to me.
I think we need to move on.
Okay.
To the next subject.
But no, I love scorpions. I'd love to go to that show, but I'm probably not going to go to Vegas for that because I'm sure I can see, like you said, Queensryche back in this area at some point.
Yep.
But I don't know. There's probably some other stuff, but screw it. Let's get into the subject at hand.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for, dude.
Right. DEB concerts, as we've mentioned now 5 times already, I think, because Doug is the guest and because they're a sponsor. Like we said, books the Roadhouse stage at Rocklahoma. He's been a sponsor with DEB Processing out there for, I think it was 2 years before last year, and then last year was the first year that he started booking the stage. Brought in a ton of great acts. You had the opportunity to play out there as well. And this year sounds like it's going to be no different. So before we get into this interview, let's play some music. I guess we can spill the beans before we get into that.
Yeah.
This is one of the bands that we'll be playing because technically, even though it was not official, Eddie Trunk spilled the beans on this a few weeks ago. He
spilled the beans a few weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, we can do what we want.
That's right. We're going to play a song now from Liliac. This song's called Dancing in the Dark.
Always strong enough to fight. Can we see the rising sun? Are we free? I would never let you go. Is there hope? Is there hope to stop the pain? And we won't slip away. And we will meet again. Lost in the night, we can't see the other side. Fall in your arms, my reflection.
Dancing in the Dark from Liliac. Not to be confused with Bruce Springsteen's Dancing in the Dark.
Yes.
It's obviously not a cover, as you could tell. But that's a great song from this up-and-coming act that, in case you have not heard of Liliac, they're 5 members and they're all siblings. You got 3 brothers, 2 sisters. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool, you know?
Yes. Another young. I'm not sure their ages. But, I mean, it's
I think
pretty...
a couple of them are in their 20s probably. Another 3 are a little bit younger.
Like 2 of them were 19 and 20, and because I heard them on, and then I don't know, it goes down from there. But I don't know, it's a pretty amazing feat. So they're going to be out there. It's going to be great.
Yeah, the first thing that I had seen with this band was there was a video going around last year that I think went viral of them doing a cover of Holy Diver.
Yeah, I know.
She's got a great voice.
Definitely. There's a couple more covers on Spotify, and then I think this original song, I'm not sure. But yeah, they're out there. It's going to be good, so. Yeah,
they'll be headlining one of the nights on the Roadhouse stage.
Yes.
Which you'll hear which one here in just a bit, but yeah, so excited to see them. I'm sure as most people are. Should we just jump into this now?
Yeah, people want to know, so here it is.
All right, here's Doug Burgess from DEB Concerts.
So who do you guys think? Who do you guys think are at the festival, or do you know?
No, we don't know.
I think John 5 and Bullet Boys, and I guess Warrant.
Yeah,
since Bullet Boys kind of
isn't that what you said? Bullet Boys had it on their bands in town already, or something?
Yeah,
what'd you tell me?
Yeah, they already announced it.
Yeah,
maybe it wasn't in their contract to not announce it yet, or not. I didn't know they were going to announce.
Yeah, who knows?
But they're half crazy anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always hear all these, especially back in the day, all these crazy stories about Mark Torian. But we had him on the podcast 3 years ago, and he was one of the nicest people we've ever sat down with.
Yeah, he was super freaking nice.
He's a nut.
Yeah.
he's out there. But it's cool that they're back together.
Yeah, that is cool. That'll probably get him a little bit more eyes on him, I think. So I think.
Well, to start on this, this year has been really challenging to find bands and to find artists. It's getting harder every year because there's so much game playing. It's like trying to deal with it kind of reminds me of when someone's running for office, for political office, and there's lobbying and there's games playing and deal making and all that kind of stuff. That's what it's like to deal with booking agents.
Yeah.
To try to book a band.
Yeah.
I mean, there's egos. There's money. There's the way you write, the way you present their name on the poster.
Yeah.
And then what I'm going through now, anybody who's ever played the main stage at Rocklahoma, they're not playing my stage.
Yeah.
Even though that could have been,
You're talking about way back in 2007 or 8?
Yeah, 2007, 2008, 2010. If they ever played on the main stage, even if it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, by God, they're not going to play on my stage.
I get, yeah.
Yeah. Like last year. Was it last year when Rat was there? Or 2 years ago? It was last year, I think.
2 years
ago. Was it 2 years ago? They played early in the day.
Yeah.
They were on the main stage, but they played early in the day.
That's right.
About 5 o'clock or something like that. And they came off the stage. They were pissed. Boy, I guess they didn't know when the contracts were signed or anything. They didn't know what billing they were. And they were back there bitching. We used to headline this place. We used to do this. We used to do that. We used to do that. Yeah, you used to fill arenas too.
Yeah.
And that's my aggravation because these are not just the 80s bands, the 90s bands. I'm having a hell of a time with 90s bands too. They still think their career is right where it was 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
They just, it's really frustrated me this year.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys an example. who I tried for Anthrax. I tried for Armored Saint. I tried for Night Ranger. I tried for Billy Squire. I tried for Loverboy. I tried for the Struts.
Yeah.
Got the money in hand, ready to go. You guys are going to headline. Saturday night, prime spot for the festival. They won't do it for lots of different reasons. Most of the reasons is because everyone else that's playing that stage are local talent.
Really?
Local bands.
Wow.
And they don't want to be. They don't want to mix. They don't. I don't know. I guess they're way above that or something.
Yeah.
And it's.
I guess it's like where they're at on the poster and where they're at. Like which stage is really.
I guess if you see it from the outside and don't know, you're going on at like, what is it, 6 or 7 if you're headlining? Isn't that what it was last year?
About 5:30,
Okay.
I think.
I mean,
But
maybe on
no
paper
other
that
stages operate.
it doesn't look good to them, but if they're out there and they see that there's 35,000 people out there at 5:30 p.m. And everybody's heard the name Anthrax, then why wouldn't you do it? You know?
Well, see, we tried to get Anthrax for the second stage for the opening night, for Thursday night.
Oh, okay.
Because they require a lot of production. So, my stage couldn't handle it anyway. We presented them, tried to get them for the second stage on Thursday night. They wouldn't do it.
Wow.
We were going to pay them everything they wanted, and that's a lot of money.
I bet.
That's a lot of money.
Man.
And they just wouldn't do it because of it's main stage or nothing.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's the way a lot of them are. Yeah.
So that's a question then, because that didn't happen last year, did it? There wasn't a band on the second stage on Thursday night, was there?
No.
So is that something that's going to happen this year, even if it's not Anthrax?
No. It's going to happen on mine because I had to get lesser bands. I had to get smaller bands.
Okay.
We were just going to do this the second stage. I don't even like call it second and third.
Right.
Because I don't know who's sponsoring the second stage, and that's what the name of that stage.
Okay.
So I have no idea, but we were just going to do that to get a really big name in there for Thursday. So that didn't happen. So it's going to be on my stage on Thursday now. So if you want to get into it, here's my cheat sheet.
Yeah.
I can't remember anything. Thursday night. Starting off Hurricane Alice.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You know them?
Yeah, I haven't heard that name, and that's awesome.
Yeah, Bruce, the singer, he's a booking agent for a lot of these bands.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
he's with ARN Entertainment, and he finally hooked me. Finally got me. So starting off with Hurricane Alice, and then Paralandra, female-fronted band from Kansas City, I believe.
Okay.
Kansas City, Missouri. Discovered them not too long ago. Really good. And then Bullet Boys, and then headlining Warren.
Okay. Cool.
That's Thursday night. Friday night. Now this year, there's only really about 3 local bands, because I've got bands coming from all over the country.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 local bands, but I mixed it up quite a bit this year. Friday night, starting off, is a band, I think they're from Texas. It's called Straight Six. Then Love Sick Radio. And then, drum roll, please. Outlaw Devils.
Yes, nice.
Scott Bond.
Yep.
Got him in there. And then Travis Bond.
Okay.
Color of Chaos. Now they're from LA. I think those are members of Bang Tango.
Okay.
I think that's who. I think it's a side band of Bang Tango. And then headlining is Liliac. The siblings.
Yeah.
The hard rock kids.
So is this the same as last year, where it started around like noon?
Yeah, starts around 11:30 a.m.
Okay.
and goes until I guess the the headliner goes on about 5:15 and is over about 5:45, and then the main stage starts. Saturday, we have The Rumors, and then Mind of Fury, 90-Pound Wrench, Fist of Rage, Eastside Gamblers. That's a band from Nashville. That's Tom Kiefer's guitar player. That's his band.
I knew that name was familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Is it Tony
Higbee?
yeah,
Tony
Tony
Higbee.
Higbee. Yeah. Killer band. Kind of a 70s vibe, kind of a blues vibe. You can't be around Tom Kiefer without having some kind of blues vibe.
Exactly.
And then headlining, this isn't 100% confirmed yet. It's about 90% confirmed. Lynch Mob.
Oh,
For
nice.
Saturday night. Got the original singer back. Oni is back.
Okay.
Singing.
Cool.
Wow.
The bass player, Tony.
Based from Great White.
Tony Montana.
No.
That-
The guy that was on Sons of Anarchy.
They had Sean McNabb, but he left.
Oh,
Lynch
did
Mob,
Sean?
didn't
No,
he?
Sean's gone.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay.
Tony Franklin.
Okay.
Okay.
Tony Franklin and Tishy is playing drums.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So he's got a damn good band.
Yeah, he does.
Again.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew Freeman, he could sing the phone book.
Yeah.
But Oni, a lot of people have been wanting to have Oni back with him.
I think it was George Lynch. Something, it was a picture of them two again. So I kind of figured.
Because I know
Tony's
last year
back.
he went through, like, he
Yeah.
started doing shows with a new singer, like, every show almost.
Yeah.
Like, kind of rotating cast.
But
of
he
guys.
said it was always rotating and that,
Yeah.
there's not really any hard feelings or anything. So
Right. And Robert Mason.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Still
right.
sings for
Yeah.
him sometimes.
He did, yeah. Forgot about that.
Okay, Sunday, starting off Chaotic Resemblance.
Oh, nice.
You know them?
Cool.
Yeah.
And then we have Jesse Kill. I believe they're from Texas. And we have Severmind.
Nice.
Finally gave them a shot this year. I
Yeah.
screwed them last year. They were on, and then they were off.
They're great.
well, the management gave me so many slots to book, and I booked that many slots, told them they were in. No, they weren't. They weren't. Oh, but Jason was in.
Yeah, I know. We all saw where that went.
So anyway, Severmind got them in. Then Paralandra again. I had to give them a double dip because of some politics with Hurricane Alice. And then Butterside. Did you guys see them?
I think I didn't
They
see
opened
Fallon
like
at
I've
that
seen
show.
They opened for LA Guns.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I got a lot of feedback about that band, and a lot of people liked them, said, man, you got to bring them in. So they're from LA also. And then headlining is John 5 and the Creatures on Sunday. So that's what I got. Headliners are Warrant, Liliac, Lynch Mob, and John 5 and the Creatures.
Very cool.
That's really cool.
Did I mention 90-Pound Wrench? earlier?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said
Okay.
you said them.
Yeah, they're. I went through a lot of submissions. I tried. You guys remember when I put out the thing for the submissions?
Yeah.
No emo screamo, Cookie Monster
my
stuff.
God.
I got about 70% of those still. And if you're into that, more power to you. That's fine. It's just not my style.
Yeah.
It's just not my deal. But it pissed a lot of people off. But get your own stage.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
do-
I mean,
do your
that's
own, do your own thing.
that's what I always say. I mean, if people are quick to jump on something, but they don't want to do it themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a preference.
Mm.
Everyone has their preference of music, and it's just not my deal. I would like to hear every third word. I would like even if I can't figure out every word the vocalist is saying. I'd like to figure out every third word. So I just don't care for that.
I mean, I'm the same way most of the time. I mean, I can do Lamb of God and Hatebreed and Soil Work, but I mean, that's anything other than that, I'm like, I just start tuning out.
Yeah.
So I get that totally.
Right.
Me and him talk about that all the time.
He's staying real quiet. I don't think he agrees with that.
Oh, no, I can lean a little more that way, but I still agree with that,
Yeah, I think he goes, I used to go way into that, and I got out of it, and then he went way into it.
Mhm.
And, it's just like different times. So we're always talking about.
Well, there's some bands that will mix it in there a little bit.
Mhm.
They'll have a melodic verse, and they'll have kind of a screaming little bridge to go into a chorus. And I think if you filter it through a song a little bit, it's not bad. Just not the whole damn thing.
Mhm.
Fist of Rage, their singer does that.
Yeah.
They mix it in there a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm back there at the soundboard. Okay, that's enough. Okay, I'm pulling it. Yeah. Just kidding. Yeah, they're good. But the way they mix it in there is pretty classy, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I just can't do the whole damn song. Get that voice on this stream.
So, question: Warren has played the main stage.
Yeah, and that's true. They I think they're after the money.
Okay.
I think, a lot of the bands are ego and billing placement, and I was surprised by that too. Now last year we almost had them, but they played Buffalo Run Casino instead.
Oh, right.
And that was a toss up, and we almost got them last year, but they went for the money.
Yeah.
Casinos.
Yeah.
Pay a lot of money.
It's a good gig. Yeah. For
Right.
sure.
Yeah, to spend that out with Lenny Kravitz. And everybody's going ape shit over Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah.
Playing Hard Rock. That was my show.
Really? Oh man.
For
For BOK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were working on that for the BOK, and
Wow.
Hard Rock came in and
Swooped in.
outbid us
Yeah.
by a crazy, stupid amount of money over our offer.
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
So yeah, Lenny Kravitz, awesome. You guys have fun.
well,
No, I don't have bad feelings. I'm good.
not at all.
Right.
Well, the headliner's going on at like 5:15.
Yeah.
Was that your idea, or is that what Rocklahoma
No,
wanted?
that's their deal.
Just
Yeah, they wanted something earlier in the day, but once that's when the main stage starts. That's when the lowest billing bands and artists started on the main stage and the second stage.
Okay.
I hate calling it the second stage, but whatever that stage is, then they go
called.
back and forth.
Okay.
They start staggering at that time, and there's no time. You can't stagger 3 stages after about 5:30, because that's when the top billing bands go on between those 2 stages.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
I wish everybody around here could play under the lights. Starting at 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. or whatever. But I got to do what I'm told.
That's right.
I don't swim upstream, and I go along. I go with the flow, and that's why they still have me there.
That's right. That's right.
Well, you mentioned that thing earlier about trying to get Anthrax for the second stage. Like, how much input do you have on outside of your stage? Is that just something they ask you for help with because of...
They consult me a lot.
Okay.
They ask me a lot about certain bands. Do you think this one would work? What do you think the locals would think about this one and that one? And this, I don't demand anything. I don't put my foot down very much. I mean, we all work together. They're not hard people to get a hold. I mean, to get along with. They're easy to get along with. But yeah, they ask me a lot. They ask my opinion a lot about certain artists.
Yeah.
Like, say all the bands you have look like Warren,
Mm-hmm.
Liliac, and last year Ace Frehley. Like, is that completely you, or do you have to run that through? I assume run that through.
I have to run everything through them, but they pretty much let me do what I want.
Okay.
They let me do what I want. Because I don't come up with something harebrained.
Right.
My stage is set up for 2 reasons. To keep what's his name? We were just talking about him, Sam.
Oh yeah.
To keep what Sam had going.
Yeah.
Local and regional bands and up and coming. I guess we should say up and coming bands to keep that deal going. But also, there's a handful of fans that still want the 80s stuff.
Mhm.
Rocklahoma, that's what it was built on, was the 80s, the 80s. Well, I like 80s music too, but it doesn't sell real well.
Mhm.
You can't just have a festival of 80s. It just doesn't work. Trust me, I know. I book them all the time.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of money booking them, but that's what I'm, I love that music. I'm not just stuck with that. We're doing some 90s stuff now, like, Buck Cherry.
Yeah.
We're expanding out to different stuff. My stage is set up for that. They call my stage, behind the scenes, Doug is in charge of the heritage acts.
Gotcha.
Okay.
The classic rock stuff.
Yeah.
Because the other two stages, they have to sell tickets. I understand that. They have to sell tickets.
Uh-huh.
Well, Bang Tango doesn't sell any tickets. Not many. There's a place, in clubs and stuff, but this is a festival, and their demographic is 18 to 35 year olds.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to tell you,
Yeah.
I've seen the numbers. That's the greatest amount of people of the population that come to these festivals, and they're still 40s and 50-year-olds, but it's just less of those.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to give everybody, every demographic something.
Yeah.
You're never going to please everybody.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's going to be very happy with the headliners this year. And it's not AC/DC. Get off of that shit. These people say, I'm going for Metallica.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Metallica's in a contract with another.
Yeah, that ain't
company.
happening
Metallica
either.
would take up more than the entire
Yeah.
budget of Rocklahoma people.
Oh, man.
And it's not AC/DC, but it's really it's going to be a really good surprise for
Good.
people. I think they're going to be
Good.
happy with it.
Well,
Is one of them? Sorry,
hey, we can have this conversation later.
is the guitarist for one of them headlining your stage on Sunday night?
No,
Okay, I just figured that was an easy one.
they tried to. They tried.
Well, is there any changes to the Roadhouse area this year? Is it pretty much the same?
Yeah, they're moving this. It's going to be a larger tent,
Okay.
Nice.
a different kind of tent too. I don't know the terminology, but the new tent won't have the big poles in the middle of it,
Mm-hmm.
so it'll be taller, and so more people can see,
I see.
and it will be larger.
Okay.
And they're going to move it further south, further away from the other stage,
Okay.
the other side stage, because it was such a success last year. There were just not enough room for people to get in there. When the headliner, the top three bills were playing,
Mm.
you guys were over there standing room only. I mean, you couldn't get into the tent.
Dude,
Yeah.
when Ace Frehley was on, I was like, "There's no
Like I can hear
getting."
Ace
I
Frehley.
mean,
No.
you had packed, which is great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But they're going to move the bars, move the bar in there. They're not going to have it right by the soundboard anymore because it was just too congested right there. I told them, I said, you can't. There's no way to get a drink.
Yeah.
When the headliner or even second bill is on, there's no way. It was just too crowded.
Yeah.
I went somewhere else.
Yeah.
So they're making it larger. They're moving it further south. I think they're going to move the entryway, the main gate, the main entry, general admission gate. Because if we go further away from the other stage, we're on that sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to move the sidewalk away also.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, bigger tent, different tent.
But still in that same back area.
Yeah,
where it
yeah,
was?
that,
Okay.
yeah. That's a good point. Everyone's asking, man, are they going to move them closer? People, those days are over.
Yeah.
Get up and walk. It's only not even a 5-minute walk from the main stage to the other two stages.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand. Some people don't want to walk. I want to sit here on my ass and everybody come to me. Not happening. But they have to do that because the major changes last year. All these different good food is out there now. You not just corn dogs and funnel cakes. Now they have gourmet barbecue and tacos and all this stuff. Well, you can't have all the stages up there in one area, and then everything back, everything else back there.
Mhm.
They've got to get people moving around.
Mhm.
You got to get people, if it's like the fairgrounds. When you go to the fair, they have all kinds of stuff in between major rides.
Yeah.
Well, they do it on purpose. So you'll walk by and get a turkey leg. You'll walk up.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing the same thing here. They got to get people up and moving around, and I think it helps.
Yeah.
I think there's a small population of people that want the stages close to each other.
Yeah.
It's a logistical problem also.
Yeah.
But they spread it out. I like it spread out like that.
Mhm.
I really do. And the way they have the backstage thing, we can get in a car. You can go from the main stage, all
Yeah.
by the other stage and all the way to my stage.
I noticed that last year, how it seems if you're out there, it seems like they're far apart, but when you're back there, everything's just right there. And that makes sense for everybody coming in and setting up and all that kind of stuff.
And that's one of the hurdles, they're still trying to figure out,
Mhm.
For my stage, moving it further south or further away from that other side stage was, well, what are we going to do about this entryway? Because we can't, we've talked about building a bridge over the entryway because
Yeah.
we have to get buses.
Oh, yeah.
Artist buses and trailers and, production equipment and all this stuff. So I think what they came up with is they're just going to move the sidewalk and the entryway still, further south a little
Mhm.
bit.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, one artist. Oh, man. One artist I forgot about that I'm excited to announce. Josh Jones is going to play the national anthem
Oh,
on
nice.
guitar this year. The little Eddie Van Halen.
Yes,
dude.
that guy.
Poster
Okay,
child.
yes. He's in NAM. He's at NAM, isn't he? 'Cause
Yeah.
Greg
I just
Renoff
saw-
just. Yeah.
I saw a video
We
of
saw
him
the same
playing the new
thing.
Eddie Van Halen
Yeah,
guitar.
that's
Damn,
awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So is that like on Friday?
I think that's
That's
Saturday.
festival or on the main stage? Yeah.
It's when they do the color guard.
Okay.
All
Okay.
that. I think.
What
I think
Jana did last year?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's Saturday about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Josh is doing that.
Good.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's a shredder.
Yeah, definitely.
I said, you better get to work on it. He goes, I'll have it done in 10 minutes. He probably could too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That kid's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
What else?
But I mean, that's a good point about the stages, though, because last year was the first year I bought food inside the venue in years.
Mhm.
Because normally I'd go from the main stage to that second stage, and then over to where the retrospect stage was,
Right.
and then to my campsite, just all in that row.
Yeah.
And I never went back.
Yeah.
This year, just because I was back there, I bought food.
Right. And there's you see, it's
So
working.
see, it worked. It worked on me, subliminally, I
To
guess.
see it work.
Yeah.
Well, going back to, you mentioned the Buck Cherry Show earlier, that brings in a different crowd, but also the older crowd too, or you want to try to get more bands like that into the IDL?
Yeah.
Is that the direction?
I've been doing this 3 years now.
Mhm.
This, in February, it's been 3 years since I did my first show there. And it's been all 80s stuff.
Yeah.
I'm kind of taking a break from the 80s stuff. I will do one every once in a while, but we're getting into some 90s stuff. I want to bigger crowds. We need some bigger crowds. We need some newer bands.
Mhm.
We will entertain any idea,
Gotcha.
but we're kind of looking at 90s and newer
Cool.
right now.
Cool.
And we are working on a BOK show right now. We're working on a really good rock show. BOK
Well,
show.
that was the last question on our list, I think. Was about how, you did Snoop and how that went over, and was there any more plans for that? So I guess there is.
Yeah, it's been we did Snoop in April
Mhm.
last year, and the guys at the BOK Center, the SMG guys, they've been trying to get us shows.
Mhm.
But here's our frustration again. It's, somebody with money can't just go book a band
Mhm.
because the booking agent will not let you have the band if they don't know you.
Yeah,
It's weird. It's a weird industry to get into. You have to prove yourself, because here we are, cash in hand, ready to go. Bring them in. Let's do it.
Yeah.
No, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
We're passing, and they'll go to DCF or of course AEG, Live Nation, or somebody else that's been doing it for 20 or 30 years. It's really hard. It's really hard to break into this business and get people to trust you.
Yeah.
So that's why we haven't had another show to be okay. Yeah, we were working on Betty Kravitz.
Yeah.
That one got swiped away from us. So, yeah, you guys just have a fucking good time out there. Let me know how it goes. Because I won't be going.
Yeah.
There's a reason those tickets start at $100, people.
Oh, my God. Well, yeah, casino shows, man. Whew.
Well, I know what they had to pay for it.
Well, yeah.
And they're still going to lose.
Even
shit
sell out,
tons
I was
of
going
money.
to say they're still probably going to not make money on that.
Well, they give
They'll
away
just make
so
it
many
on-
tickets,
Yeah.
But they'll make it back that night in the casino.
Yeah, everybody, when you go to a casino show and it's packed out, they didn't sell all those tickets.
Yeah.
Usually 60 to 70% have been given away.
Yeah.
But you get out there and spend your money on them slot machines because that's what they want.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
That's why there's never any opening bands at casinos.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
openers, about an hour set.
Get you in, out, gambling.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's why they start at 7 or 8 o'clock instead of 9 or 10 or, Oh, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the Black Crows playing the BOK Center? Isn't that a little ambitious, you think?
No.
Because have you looked at, like, if you go on Ticketmaster right now and pull it up, I mean, you see nothing but a sea of unsold tickets.
Really?
And it's been on sale for months.
When's the show?
June.
Oh, that's why. That's Tulsa.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
I mean...
whenever I book a
See,
band...
I thought it was in March.
Whenever I book a band at the IDL, so we'll go down to that level, club level. The booking agent wants me to give them a ticket count every week.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, every week.
Like you have to report to them every week.
Every week,
Okay.
yeah. How many tickets we've sold. Most of those weeks are only like a difference of 10 tickets. And they'll say, wow, what the hell's going on down there? There's no reason for these people to buy in advance.
Mm-hmm.
They know they're going to be available. It's general admission. They know they get them at the door. They don't have to buy them right now. They know it's not going to sell out.
Yeah.
And I think that the Black Crows, since June, Tulsa's like this.
Yeah.
What we've found is the audience is here. Now, I'm not talking about Justin Timberlake or Celine Dion kind of shows, but rock shows like we would go to. People don't buy here in town. What we're finding is people don't buy their tickets 6 months in advance. They know there's going to be tickets. Say the Black Crowes is probably a lower bowl show.
It's open all the way up.
All the way up?
That's what I thought was weird. Yeah.
Wow.
That's ambitious.
That's what
Yeah.
I thought.
I did not. I thought it was curved.
I thought looking at this,
really
it's gonna change to that. It was my bad.
Yeah. Because
Wow.
that's, with Tom and I, and Joe, Trevor, and Eric, and Casey at the BOK Center, we always start with a lower bowl.
Yeah.
Because you open up that upper bowl, there is a hell of a lot more expenses.
Yeah.
You got security, you got ushers, you have concessions, so we're always going to start with a lower bowl, and if it starts selling over that, then we'll open it up.
Wow.
But yeah, Black Crows, if they're going all the way up with that's a little ambitious. I know the brothers are back together. They kissed and made up for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that could have easily been a lower bowl show. Campground stages. You guys want to talk about campground stages?
I know we lost the two bigger ones from the last couple of years, Dark Side and Steve's Proving Ground stage. But
yeah, I think what they did is, I'll just touch on it because there's a lot of people don't understand what's really going on. And what I was told a couple days ago is nothing's really changed.
Mm-hmm.
They're still letting people do campground stages, but every person coming in the gate has to buy a ticket to the show.
Mm.
You want a tent, you're going to pay for those many camping spots.
Yeah.
Crew coming in with your stuff, they're buying a ticket.
Yeah.
they're not allowed on the property without a ticket.
Yeah.
All the bands got to have a ticket, and that's I understand what Steve tried to do last year because I was a part of it. I helped pay for it.
Mm.
That's a hell of a big production for being outside the festival grounds. I mean, and I know his struggles, but I understand management side too.
Yeah.
These people got to buy a ticket. You're not getting free tickets.
Yeah.
Just so you can play out there.
Yeah.
It's kind of so nothing. Nothing's really changed except they're just not giving anybody any breaks.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do a little stage? Fine. Everybody that comes in the gate buying a ticket.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with that because they have. This isn't a hobby. This isn't the Salvation Army. They're doing this for money. They're trying. They're trying to make a profit. But it's a shame. Steve not going to be there. I think Chris, that was his choice, right?
Yeah, he just said it was just overwhelming, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
I couldn't
imagine trying to manage all that.
Yeah.
Not me. People will hit me up all the time. Hey, man, you need some stage hands? Not my deal.
Yeah.
All I do is book the bands, and that's it.
Yeah.
And see, I'm done now. I've chosen the bands. I've booked the bands, and
So when you're out there, you're not managing the stage, anything?
I don't do anything.
You don't have any responsibility on that
No.
front?
And once I book a band, I take down their phone number and email address, and I pass it on to AEG, and I tell all the bands, don't contact me about anything. Now it's between you and AEG and Rocklahoma management.
Yeah.
And that's the way I want it. Because I go to Rocklahoma to have fun. I don't go out there to babysit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
There's no beer backstage. Well, great. Thanks
Not
for telling
my
me.
problem.
Thanks for telling me because I won't go over there now.
There you go. Now I know where not to go.
To all the artists for my stage, though, there will be beer backstage this year.
Nice.
One thing I want to say too, also, I've got favorite bands here in town. I don't have any repeat bands this year.
Yeah,
I stuck to that.
And that's good, I think. Yeah.
You got to give other people a chance, and Dead Metal Society, Rocket Science, Down for Five, Poster Child, those people, they're all my favorites here in town. They know it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it, and I don't have any cover bands on my stage either, and they really don't like cover bands. Out there, they don't. They say, man, you got to have originals. If a band plays a cover or two during their set, no big deal. But they don't want to. They really don't like 100% cover bands.
Yeah.
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
I book them all the time.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
anyway.
some of those years, Dead Metal Society had like the biggest crowd on that stage over there, a few years ago.
Them and Rocket Science got screwed last year, during the storms, the midnight storms.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And that sucked. And we're not doing a midnight slot on my stage this year. And the main reason for that is because of expenses.
Yeah.
It's isolated. That same stage manager that's there at 11:30 in the morning, or probably earlier, probably 10 a.m. in the morning, he's got to be there until after that last set.
Yeah.
So they say, it's really not. It doesn't. It's not feasible to have. For the expenses, and I understand that, and I do understand it, but I did kind of want DMS or all three of them, DMS, Rocket Science, Poster Child, to go 3 nights, on the midnight thing. I tried, couldn't do it. We'll look at it next year. I try to please everybody, but I can't.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
can't please everybody.
Right. And there's a lot of bands, I get a lot of shit for not booking bands that I've never heard of. They didn't even submit. They didn't even submit a packet, and people expect me to know who they are.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, you should have booked this guy. I just got a message the other day. You should have booked so-and-so. I said, who's that? My uncle or something. I said, did they submit a packet? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Done here.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Some people.
Mm-hmm.
Some people's kids.
So
What
what
else?
time does it start on Friday? I mean, Thursday, do you know yet?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
So there's four bands. That should bring them in pretty good.
Yeah.
One thing that this is doing, it's doing this Thursday night thing. Were you guys out there last year?
Yeah.
I've never seen that many people there on a Thursday.
Yeah.
I've never seen that campground like that ever on a Thursday night. And this should work too. People
I thought that
people
was
want to
really
start partying.
Yes, they do.
On Thursday. But in the past, there was no music out there. Well, yeah, there was. Yeah, the Axis stage, they had that local
Yeah.
bands,
Yeah.
But last year, that Thursday night with Slaughter, was it Slaughter on
Slaughter.
Thursday night? Yeah, it's
Slaughter.
I couldn't believe it
Yeah.
on a Thursday night.
That was great.
Yeah.
Get your ass in there and buy some beer.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's a business, folks. They're
Yeah.
trying to make money, but they're trying to keep you happy too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think they've done the Thursday night inside since the first year, like 7, 8, 9. They did Thursday night free parties inside.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was open to the public. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, it was but it was just open to the public. You didn't have to have a ticket or anything.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No. But now
Yeah, and this
now
this
do.
you only have to have a 3-day pass to go to the Thursday show,
Yeah,
right?
that's the way it was last year too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for weekend passes only.
Okay.
Mhm.
So there's no such thing as a Thursday night pass, or you can't get
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
And if you can't get in on Thursday without an all weekend pass. That's a good. I'm glad you brought that up. Anything else we haven't covered?
I think we got it. I think we covered it all.
I mean, is there anybody else I don't know. Well, you named names earlier on bands you tried to get, for the stage out there. Is anybody for Rocklahoma or Ideal that you've tried that you really want to get that you haven't been able to yet? I know you mentioned Ace Frehley last time we had you on, but you ended up getting him at Rocklahoma last year.
I'm working on Armored Saint and Doro right now.
Oh, wow.
Nice. God damn it, that's awesome.
Yeah, and maybe Metal Church. I'm trying to get some metal,
I see.
some
yeah.
more metal in here
Yeah.
instead of the commercial rock.
Yeah, John Bush is one of my favorite singers
Yeah,
ever.
I'm trying to get some heavier stuff in here.
That's cool.
The BOK show that we're working on right now is pretty good. It'll be. I think everybody would be happy if this one comes through. That's all I got to say about that.
Sounds like something I really want to know about. But it's okay.
Turn that damn recorder off. We'll
Well,
So anything else you want to say about Rocklahoma? You covered all you think?
I'm good.
All right.
right on.
Cool. Well, thanks for doing this with us.
Sure.
There you go, Doug Burgess from DEB Concerts, making the announcement of all the bands that are playing the Roadhouse stage, sponsored by D&B Processing. Pretty exciting.
Yes.
What'd you say?
It's going to be great.
Yeah. I mean, last year we've mentioned that several times in the lead up, that they had Lita Ford and Ace Frehley and Slaughter and Beasto Blanco. I mean, this year, that's awesome. You got headliners like Warrant, Lynch Mob, Liliac, John 5 and the Creatures. So, I mean, you're kind of spreading a gamut there on some different styles.
Yeah.
You've also got some great throwbacks like Hurricane Alice and Bullet Boys, which are great live. We know that for a fact.
Oh, yeah.
And Bullet Boys, by the way, has all their original members right now for the first time in a long time. So that'll be very cool. Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. And I mean, we've got some of our local friends that have been on this podcast a few times, like Fist of Rage and Severmind.
So glad Severmind's on there, especially knowing they almost were there last year. It's great that they're on, that they deserve it.
Yeah. I mean, as you mentioned, Josh Jones from Poster Child will be
Yes.
playing the national anthem out at Rocklahoma, which is a big deal. If you're not familiar with him, just Google him, get on YouTube. You'll see some amazing shredding.
Yeah, your face will be melted.
That's right. So yeah, pretty exciting. And Doug mentioned us a few of the bands that are playing the main stage and the second stage. And I will tell you this, I'm extremely excited about a couple of these bands that
Yeah.
at least one of them has been on my bucket list for quite a while.
Yeah.
one of the headliners I've seen many times, but as Doug mentioned, they've never been to Rocklahoma, so I know a lot of people will be happy about that.
Yeah.
So look for that announcement of all that stuff coming soon. But in the meantime, get on your computer or your phone or wherever you generally look up stuff and type in debconcerts.com and bookmark that. Keep their website on hand. Get on Facebook. Type in DEB Concerts. Follow them. Like them. That's what it is on Facebook, right? And then get on Twitter and follow them at DEB Concerts so you don't miss any of the announcements for all the bands that keep coming to the Ideal Ballroom, like Buck Cherry on February 22nd. And then when they make the announcement of this show they're working on at the BOK Center for later here in 2020, which will be pretty exciting as well.
Yeah.
And all that. And then also while you're doing that, follow all our socials.
Oh, you have to.
Right. Thunder Underground on Facebook. Like it. At THNDRUNDR Ground on Twitter. I know there's some vowels missing, but there's only so many letters you can put on Twitter.
That's right.
And then YouTube is at Thunder Underground. If you subscribe to us there, we have a lot of videos of us reviewing stuff, talking about stuff. I'm sure we'll be talking about the Rocklahoma full lineup here shortly when it comes out. What am I missing? Instagram at The Thunder Underground. And then our website is thethunderunderground.com. Actually, if you just go to thethunderunderground.com, you can find all the links to all the socials. Click on them, follow, like. Anywhere you listen to the podcast, if you follow, like, share, retweet, whatever it allows you to do, that's a great help to us. You can listen to us on iTunes, Google Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Mixcloud, and of course, soundcloud.com/thunder-underground. You can also listen directly from our website. A lot of these bands that are playing that was just mentioned, like Warrant and Bullet Boys, both have members that have been on this podcast.
Of course.
We mentioned Fist of Rage, Severmind. I'm sure there's a few other ones in there I'm forgetting that have been on this podcast. We've had tons of bands on here that have played Rocklahoma, like Seven Dust, Megadeth, and a ton of other acts that haven't, like Kiss. Gene Simmons have been on here, Bruce Kulick. We've had on Clutch has been out there a couple times. We've had on both Neil Fallon and Tim Salt. We've had on guys from Prong, Crowbar. Shinedown has been out there. They had on their original guitarist back whenever they were at their best. You heard it here first, folks. That's not first. We all knew that. Yes, a ton of great acts. So just dig through there. I think last year at Rocklahoma, 23 of the bands playing, if I remember right. That sounds right. Whenever I wrote out the thing, had been on our podcast before. So,
which is great.
Yeah, we've been doing this now for around Rocklahoma time. Coming this May will be our 5-year anniversary. So if this is for some reason your first time listening, you just dig back through there. I'm sure there'll be a band that you like that has had a member on this podcast at some point.
Yes. We've
got an episode coming up with Tommy from Slim Lord Radio, which will be very cool. And we can announce now that James Lamenzo is also going to be on this podcast.
That's awesome.
We recently recorded an interview with him, which was great. He is currently John Fogerty's bassist. A lot of people know him from his time with Black Label Society. Other people know him from his time with White Lion. Other people know him from his time with Pride and Glory and Megadeth.
Yep.
The guy's done even a lot more than that, so you'll hear all about that here in the next week or two.
Super cool, dude.
Yeah, really excited about that one, so be on the lookout for that. We've also got, as always, a couple things in the works, and you might even see us on Surviving Rocklahoma here very soon as well.
You think?
It's possible.
Oh, man, I can't wait.
I mean,
if that's happening.
Yeah, they haven't announced it, but it's possible it could be happening. We're just like putting this out into the universe. So maybe it will happen. Maybe Adam will be like, oh, they want to do that? Maybe I'll let them do it this week.
There you go.
Who knows? If not, don't blame us. Blame Adam Richmond. But all right. Yeah, and then random note, if you're listening to this, you're a Rocklahoma fan, you haven't seen Surviving Rocklahoma, get on their Facebook and follow them. Watch their show every Sunday night at 9 p.m. It's great stuff. It's completely Rocklahoma-centric, but he plays a ton of music.
Yeah.
Talks about other stuff as well.
Know way more about how to navigate the Rocklahoma waters than we ever could.
Right.
There's avenues they turn and go down that we haven't even thought of.
That's right.
It's like you said, it's definitely Rocklahoma centric.
Right. So yeah, get on there and check them out. All right. Does that cover us for this week, I think?
I think that does it.
Cool.
Let's go have a beer.
All right. Yeah, huge thank you again to Doug Burgess for dropping the announcement right here on our podcast, and, of course, for being a continuing sponsor of our podcast. And a thank you again to MedFarm. And until next time.
We get loopy in the middle of the interview. You know why.
I slept last night and didn't wake up crazy. So.
If I start naming off too big a bands, then let me know.
Yeah. It's like, quick, turn it off.
Yeah. Right. I think this is over. Pass out.
Thunder Underground, y'all.